Hello.
Hello.
I feel like I always say that so weirdly. I get all awkward once we hit record. This week, thought it would be interesting to talk about success. So I'm currently reading Ariana Huffington's Thrive, which is quite an old book. Um, I think this was written before Atomic Habits, definitely, because she refers
Okay.
back when she talks about habits. She talks about Duhigg's, Duhigg,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Charles Duhigg, or yeah, he
Charles Duhigg, yeah.
he spoke about habits. He wrote a book about habits
Mm.
that I think Atomic Habits took a lot from. Um, but she talks about the third metric to redefining success and creating a happier life. So she first talks about the metrics of success widely being accepted as having money and having power. Um, and then she talks about how that isn't really success unless you have this third metric as well. And the third metric that she talks about is a combination of well being, wisdom, wonder, and giving. So it's these four concepts, and I'll be very upfront and say that I haven't started the chapter on wonder yet, so I've only read about well-being and wisdom so far. Still got to get through wonder and giving, but I just liked the idea and the concepts, and I like how she describes it, and I feel like it aligns with a lot of things we've spoken about before in terms of health, wealth, and happiness. And so I kind of wanted to get your
Mm.
thoughts on how do you define success for yourself, and then I have a few thoughts about whether anyone ever actually feels like they've achieved success.
Yeah, that's an interesting take on it. Um, Well-being, wisdom, wonder, and giving. Mm. So I think she's spot on with that.
Yeah,
Um, Look, there's so many people who, once they achieve number one and number two,
yeah,
it sets them on a path of more of number one and number two.
yep,
Um, and I think it's very much a question of, I don't know, personality, probably the best way to describe it, of what do you consider enough
mm-hmm.
money, and what do you derive from power? That's one that I've struggled with in terms of what do people get out of power?
More
Uh,
responsibility.
yeah, so
Yeah,
so that's more or less how I view it, you know. Why would I want more power?
yeah,
But then you hear people discussing, I don't know, George Soros, for example.
I don't know who that is.
It's actually an example of one that I heard recently. So George Soros is this very rich individual
Mm-hmm.
who um, is considered to be uh, not the nicest person in the world.
That's often the
I don't know
case.
if, yeah, I don't know if this is all conspiracy
Yeah,
theory or whatever, but I mean, there are some facts around it, which kind of make you wonder, you know, what is it that he's after, etc. So, I mean, you can take the conspiracy theories all the way up to the Illuminati if you want to.
mm-hmm.
But um, so, so he's just one example. Then one of the other ones that often come to mind for me is a guy like Warren Buffett.
Yeah,
You know, he's got money, loads, and loads of it, and he's got power as well.
mm-hmm.
But he's like a really good candidate for me in terms of not really seeking the power.
Yeah,
It it comes to him because of the fact that he is such a good investor. Um, and obviously the position that he or his company take on boards, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he's like, I don't know, super chilled about all of this, serious about what he's doing, but not seeking power to I think, the detriment of others.
Yeah.
And then you look at some of the despots of the world who, I don't know, maybe it was just history that painted them that way. But the Genghis Khans of the world is often used as you know, um, which I really think is a bit of a bad rap. But I mean, it was a completely different
Time.
world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and everything was around, listen, if we're going to conquer you or we will be conquered,
Yeah.
type of thing. And but then more modern kind of Stalin, Mao, Hitler, Idi Amin. Maybe I shouldn't mention some of the current ones, who, in my opinion, fall in that same category. Um, Yeah, so that's one that I've always really struggled to see the allure of power.
Power. Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
suppose the some of the allure, especially for these hyper rich people, is being able to influence the kind of the way that the world works and the way society works and the things people do and what they choose to do. I don't know, something about having influence over the masses. I think it's an ego thing, isn't it? It's
I suppose it is an ego thing. But again, my question is, why would I
yeah.
want to influence
Yeah,
what
what do you get out
somebody?
of it?
Yes, what do you
Yeah.
get out of it? I can understand that people get obsessed with money and more money and more money. But even that, sounds like way too much responsibility.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, Look, a lot of what we hear and see about people, how much they are worth, etc., is not really true in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
Isn't
it
that
is
quite
linked to
relevant with the Trumps at the moment?
yeah. Um, but anyway, so I can kind of understand that the importance of money, the power part I struggle with.
Yeah.
Um, I really like the well-being.
Yeah.
Does she talk at all about the order in which these things occur or happen?
No, I don't think it's specifically about an order, but I do think that she started with the well-being because she's a very successful. I think the Huffington Post became successful out of nowhere, and they weren't expecting it to be as big a success as they thought.
Hmm.
Um, and she was definitely one of those people who prioritized work and committed every single second that she could to work. And then I think she had a medical emergency that forced her to slow down.
Yeah,
And that's when she started looking at these things. So the one thing that she did say, I know in the well-being section, because she talks about fitness, eating, sleep, meditation, all of these different things that make up well-being.
yeah.
But she says she started with sleep. She said the first thing she did was change her schedule so that she gets 7 to 8 hours sleep a night, and that started to affect all the other things, because once you have that sleep, then exercise is so much easier, focus is easier,
Mm.
eating healthier is easier once you have that sleep correct.
Yeah, and I suppose it was also a question of kind of where she found herself at that point when she had the medical issue. I seem to recall that she was kind of like working stupid hours,
Yeah.
like most people who find themselves kind of caught up in that trajectory of success.
Yes.
You know, stuff's got to get done, and then you end up working 7 days a week, 18 hours plus a day. Um, and I suppose when she kind of reached that point where, okay, cool, things are going wrong now, physically, that sleep was extremely important at that point.
Yeah.
So, kind of doing it that way around. Um, so, in other words, she did first attain, well, I think it's fair to say, some money,
Yeah. I think that they got a lot of money quite quickly.
some power.
Yeah.
So, the well being came after that.
Yeah, so I would maybe look at it in the way that she's written it. So I would go in the order that I said it in: well-being, wisdom, wonder, giving. After that, so money and power first.
Yeah. Um, so, wouldn't it be wonderful if we can do it the other way around?
Yeah.
First, have the well being and the wisdom and the wonder.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about this giving thing because I think it's a very broad brush that they paint with.
Also, wish she'd come up with
Um,
another word with a W.
yes, it is a bit of a letdown right there at the end.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm just
I
having a
can
look because I haven't, as I say,
maybe
I haven't read it yet, but I'm just curious about where it starts.
there
So,
is a W word that I often kind of associate with giving.
is it welfare?
No, waste. Welfare is a good one
Yeah.
because often
I'm
that's where it ends up.
doing the what's his name?
James Altucher.
Yeah, James Altucher thing, and just looking at the headlines. So, widening the boundaries of our caring. What are we going to do this weekend? It shouldn't take a natural disaster for us to tap into our natural humanity. Go
Yeah.
getters are good, go givers are better.
Mm.
Okay, that's a weird one,
Yeah,
but yeah.
I think without knowing any context there, I disagree with the if if there are no go-getters,
Mm-hmm.
there won't be any go-givers.
Well, yeah.
And that's what I think. Not just myself, but a lot of people don't like about that is somebody who is in that position. And look, I can understand where she's coming from. You first have to do all of these things, and then you can start preaching to the rest of the world about give your shit away.
Yeah.
But you must also remember, I try to see it from somebody who does not have the ability to give
Mm-hmm.
in the same way or manner that she can. And I think people find that a little bit condescending,
Yeah.
or a hell of a lot in my case. Yeah, I find it very condescending.
Yeah. I'm also just thinking about it because she's definitely religious. There's a few times in the book where I roll my eyes at some of the things, but I'm just wondering if there's a religious angle to that because I grew up in a religious family where we were taught about tithing and giving 10% away of what you earned. And I used to do that when I was earning peanuts. I used to give 10% of it to the church. So I
Mm,
wonder if there's something in that it's a religious angle.
yeah. Uh, which religion is she?
She's Christian.
Okay.
I don't know what. I think she must be Greek Orthodox because she's Greek. So I would assume she's Greek Orthodox.
Okay, she Greek.
Yeah. She grew up
I
in
could.
Athens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was a little further east, but anyway. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. So Yeah, it's interesting. So as you say, the book was written a while ago.
Yeah. More than
She is a person who became very successful and very famous.
yeah.
And I have no doubt that she has done a hell of a lot of good with some of that wealth. I wonder, though, what her opinion about that is in the current state of the world, whether that
Yeah.
changed at all. What is
Something
she doing at the moment?
I think still the HuffPost. Don't know. I follow her on LinkedIn, I think,
Okay.
and I used to get quite a lot of like her little one-liners, which is probably not her, someone managing her account, but
Mm.
some interesting little one-liners, which is why I was drawn to the book was on special, or I think I bought another book and this one was added as a bundle or something. I've had it for ages. I've just only started reading it now. But the
Okay.
reason that I did add it or buy it was because I'd seen some of the things she'd said on LinkedIn and I thought they were interesting and that it might be something I'd want to read. But I'm also just thinking of the giving thing again because we've spoken about this before about the rational selfishness and the mutually beneficial relationships and things like
Mm.
that, where as long as you're getting something out of it, it makes sense. And just a random example, recently, our little beach cafe that we used to get a coffee after a swim every weekend was washed into the sea in a bad storm. And
Oh dear.
they lost everything. Um, and they set up one of those campaigns. Well, one of their friends set up a
Hmm.
campaign to raise money to help them rebuild. Um, and this makes me sound like I'm praising myself, but without hesitation, I contributed to the campaign because I love that little beach
Yeah.
cafe. I wanted to come back because I enjoy my coffee on a Saturday morning after I've had a cold swim. And they're really
Yes.
nice, friendly people. And the longer story, but a lot of people got upset that, oh, there's so many homeless people in our town and there's all this other stuff. Why are people giving all their money to this cause and not to another cause? And I was just thinking, it's my money. I can choose what I want to do with it. And this is something
Exactly.
that benefits me and I want it to exist and I want them to come back and build. And there were a lot of people just getting really upset because they managed to raise within 72 hours more than they were asking for. And
Oh wow.
yeah, as a result of what wonderful people they are, they're really friendly. They've created such a vibe on the beach and people enjoy them being there. And yeah, it was just interesting to see how upset people got that other people, like, they weren't being
Mm.
asked to donate. You don't have to give them money if you don't want to, but people were getting
Yes.
really upset that other people were donating to them.
Oh my word. Well, that's a fantastic story. To hear that there was this much support. And yeah, I think the point that you were trying to make there is this thing about mutually beneficial.
Yeah,
You were in no way pressured to support this or to donate,
no,
but because of the value that you get out of that establishment and the interaction you had with the people,
yeah,
it was like an easy decision for you to make.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
back to
Success.
Ariana's back to Ariana's three W's and a G. I think we've covered the G now. um, which of the well-being, wisdom, and wonder do you think should be prioritized?
um, well, this is what I think it needs to all be. It all kind of relates to each other.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, I haven't read the Wonder one yet, but I just think of myself and being curious and wanting to know more and wanting to learn more, and that's part of what I don't want to say success because I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but just living and being happy and enjoying my life means to me is having a combination of those three things. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, which do you think should be prioritized? There's
So,
honestly a reason
so
you asked the question.
no, I mean, when I first kind of noted them down here, it was in the order that you mentioned
Yeah.
them, and then I thought to myself, well, is that a kind of order? Why did she put them down in that order? Because
Mm-hmm.
for me, looking at them is like I can't put them in order. It
Yeah.
looks like the one
Don't you
refers
start
to
with
the other.
wonder and then, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So well-being would be a hell of a lot easier if I had all the wisdom.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, and so I kind of see this never-ending circle of
Yeah.
one leads to the next and feeds the other
Yeah.
one.
So this was kind of my thing is, do you ever actually achieve success or whatever the thing is? Because I've heard it a few times now, and it's a bit of a cliche, but it's all about the journey, not about the destination. Because um, I can't think that there's going to be a moment in my life where I feel like I've achieved it all. I'm good. Like I can die happy. Everything's perfect. I can't imagine that
Mm,
moment. And then I think about people like Elon Musk, who is by all view a very successful man. Does he consider himself a success? And maybe if he gets people to Mars, will he then feel like he's a success, or will there be something else? There's just, I can't imagine that there's ever a moment that someone feels that they are successful.
yeah. Look, I think it depends on, again, the metric that you use to define success. So, if it's, um, I can't see Elon ever being satisfied that he's achieved everything that he went set out to achieve.
Yeah.
Because every success will kind of lead to something else. So should he ever get to Mars, I think there's already a whole bunch of things lined up. Well, if we can do that, what about
What's
this and what
next?
about the next and a colony, etc., etc. So that's why I think it's really important to define for yourself what does success to you look like.
Mm-hmm.
So, and look, it's just natural. We always go for these extremely well-known people around the world.
Yeah.
But I think of, I don't know, my barber. My barber could be the most successful person because you get that gratitude every several times a day
Yeah.
of a satisfied customer getting out of that chair. Um, I don't know, so in, at every level, I think we naturally think that success has to come with a lot of money, and that
Yeah.
and that's not true. Money is important, but money is just a medium of exchange.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So, if you take somebody with $1 billion, you put him or her on a deserted island, is that really worth that much? No, it's not.
Depends how long you're there for.
Well, remember I said deserted island, huh? So, so if you don't have any of the other things, I
Yeah.
mean, your power, telling people that you got $1 billion, there's nobody to
Yeah.
tell. So the other elements, the well-being, the wisdom, and the wonder, I think are more important there
Yeah.
because that will give you a better chance or a bigger chance of actually surviving.
I wish it were as simple as just looking at these things and then achieving success. I always go back to the well-being one because I know exactly what I need to do to be healthy in terms of my body, and probably it affects my mind as well. But I always slip back on that, and I just can't understand myself, because I know I'm an intelligent person, I'm logical, I know what I need to do, and then I don't do it. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, because the risk has not been, I mean, so so let's go back to Ariana's story.
Mm-hmm.
She started prioritizing sleep because
She had to.
of an oh fuck moment.
Yeah.
You know, I'm close to dying. I've got to
Yeah.
make some changes now. And that's obviously, you know, why do or what prompts most people who are addicted to something,
Yeah.
drugs, alcohol, etc. What is that one thing that kind of make them go, okay, cool, that's enough?
Usually a
Is
near death experience.
a near-death experience,
Yeah.
rock bottom experience,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and for most of us, these kind of habits that we want to change or etc. It's not a, you're nowhere near rock bottom.
Yeah.
You haven't experienced that kind of, and I think that that's the difference. So, do you want everybody to experience that rock bottom before they change their way?
I
No,
certainly don't want to
no,
experience it myself.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but I definitely think that that is obviously the best way
Yeah.
to get somebody to change their behavior and kind of see it from that angle. Um, so I don't know. I really like the well-being, wisdom, and wonder.
Yeah. I can
I should have.
update
I
once I
should have.
actually finish the book.
Yeah, I should have gotten that tattooed on my arm. Uh, it's not too late.
No,
I can
there's still
still get that.
space.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that I think is really powerful. Three words.
Yeah. I'm gonna write them down. I've
Um,
started journaling again. I'm gonna write them down in
oh,
a
okay,
journal
cool.
every morning. Um, yeah.
I was going to say that that seems to me like it's really three nice headings
Yeah.
to put down
And then to kind
in
of
your
focus
journal.
on those areas and what are you doing in each of those areas. Yeah. I
Well,
like
just
it.
so do you journal into the future or do you is it proactive or
I
retrospective?
do both. So,
Okay,
for
okay,
example, this morning actually I wrote myself a prompt because I woke up a little bit grumpy this morning, and I was trying to think of ways to get myself out of that funk, and I picked up my journal and I wrote, what do I want? Like, what will make me happy? What are the things that I want? And I wrote down a list of what I want. And so
okay,
that's kind of a future thing where now I've written it down, that's what I'm trying to get to. I don't know how long it'll take. I don't know if it's one of those like never achievable goals or something that I'm going to always be striving for. Um, but then I also still do my what was one good thing that happened today? How could I
okay.
improve tomorrow? Um, and also just notes about the day. So yeah,
Yeah, so I think that that could be a nice one to kind of implement something like the well-being. What did I do today
yeah,
to improve my well-being? What wisdom did I attain today?
yeah.
What wonder, you know, so just something about
I
something
like
like
it.
that, which
Prompts help.
look just in terms of what you wrote down this morning,
Yeah.
maybe you must do a weasel word count. Try, want,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
But what is
Like,
it? It's not what I need, it's what I want. What do I want?
okay. Yeah, you're right. And there's nothing wrong with wanting.
No, well, one of the things on that list is an Audi. So, so, some of them are material and some of them are not.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was just kind of like getting my mind into action and thinking about the things that I want, and then I can start thinking about what do I need to do to get them.
Yeah.
So
Look, there's nothing wrong with material wants, honestly. But as long as your motives um, and the desires why you want those things are clear to you,
yeah,
um, then that's fine. So maybe it's wrong of me to say want is a is a but try definitely is a weasel word.
yeah. No,
Anyway,
I must remind myself of those things.
yeah, I really like this well-being, wisdom, and wonder.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to note that down in my little notebook as well.
yeah,
Um, and really pay a bit more attention to kind of just jotting down for myself as well, in terms of what did I accumulate
yeah,
on a daily basis around those things.
yeah,
Some of it on the well-being side, I already do. I keep note of that.
yeah.
Um, but adding the other two. So thanks for that.
Cool.
I'm going to give this giving thing some thought as well.
But I'm sure you do it. I mean, you definitely
I do
did.
it.
When I worked for you, there were very many
Uh,
times when you gave when you didn't have to.
I do it, but not in the sense that I think a lot of people expect us to do it.
Yeah, yeah,
So there are numerous examples of the current South African socio-economic landscape where I do not give, where it is socially accepted or expected of you
yeah.
to give.
Well, you do because I know that you don't evade tax, so you do give.
Look,
You might be creative, but
yeah,
you pay your taxes, so
no,
you are
no,
giving to the South
no,
African
definitely
socio-economic.
you're
Exactly.
giving, but you know how it goes here. You
Yeah,
know, at every traffic light, there's somebody
yeah,
standing with a hand.
yeah.
Uh,
But
you're
again, I don't think
expected to
that's
pay for,
necessarily what the giving means. It's you
yeah,
are
yeah.
giving in your own way, and that adds to your metric of success for yourself. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be giving to every person at a traffic light.
Yeah. And also, I mean, like you mentioned in the beginning, in terms of how religions um, maybe expect of you to give um, to the church.
Yeah.
Um, it's, but anyway, so yes, I definitely am giving
Mm-hmm.
um,
So it might be worth
in
noting
lots
that
of
one
different ways.
in your journal too, just to remind yourself that actually that is part of your metric, even if it's not in the societally
Correct,
expected sense.
correct,
Good.
correct. Because that is definitely part of kind of like my own personal
Yeah.
ethos. Um, and thanks for reminding me about that, because there are definitely ways in which I do it,
Yeah.
which may or may not be just giving money away.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that is the intention in terms of what she. It wasn't just
Yeah.
handing out cash to feel better.
Yeah. I'll have to update once I've read that chapter and
Yes,
see if we
yes.
were on point or not. But
Okay,
thank you for this
phenomenal.
chat. It's
Thank you.
actually put a lot in my head about things that I want to focus on and put in my journal and use as prompts. So yeah, it's been good.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.